Happy Halloween, everyone. My name is Lynn Taggart. I'm a realtor here in Central Oklahoma. Now, I usually make videos about what it's like living in this place to give folks thinking about moving here a little taste of what life in Oklahoma, and especially Oklahoma City, is like. But given our recent unique experience my sons and I had this past weekend here in town, more about that in a bit, I decided to break tradition and make another video about Oklahoma City, but this time with a decidedly different twist. Now, as if making a big move to Oklahoma City isn't scary enough, and by the way, the move part I can help you with, you'll find that when you get here, there are a few prominent places in town that are really scary as hell, where previous residents that died long ago apparently loved this place so much, they decided to stick around and frighten the heck out of those of us that are still here and upright and breathing. So today's video will be all about 5 places in Oklahoma City I've selected that are known for their frequent paranormal activity. And if you stick around to the end, you'll find out why some NBA players want absolutely nothing to do with number 5. So comment down below, have you had a paranormal experience here in Oklahoma City? If so, where? I'm curious to see what you have to say. Now, sidebar note, if you'd like to learn more about the town's history and even more of its numerous happy haunts, I'd encourage you to pick up a copy of the book Haunted Oklahoma City. I got a copy of it right here, by Jeff Provine and Tanya McCoy. You can find it at any Central Oklahoma Barnes & Noble bookstore or CVS pharmacy. The book gives readers a little insight into Oklahoma City's crazy history. So imagine a town that went from a population of 0 to 10,000 residents in less than a day as a result of the 1889 Oklahoma Land Run. And you can learn more about that pivotal event in Oklahoma history here. So the book lists a whole host of hotspots located around town that you might want to check out. And if you do, a word to the wise, don't go alone or at night. Just saying. Hey, before we dive into some of Oklahoma City's haunted history, do me a huge favor, hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps out the channel, and I would greatly appreciate the gesture for sure. Okay, so in no particular order, here's 5 of Oklahoma City's most haunted locations. Number 1, the Overholser Mansion at 405 Northwest 15th Street in Oklahoma City. So first on the list is one of Oklahoma City's most haunted and oldest locations, the Overholser Mansion. Built in 1903 by Henry and Anna Overholser, the 12,000 square foot mansion, and by the way, it has an accompanying 4,000 square foot carriage house, was considered the social center of Oklahoma City at the time. Henry became known as the father of Oklahoma City, and a large lake in town is named after him today. The house, now owned by the Oklahoma Historical Society and managed by Preservation Oklahoma, is literally frozen in time, as all the original furnishings are still intact, including even clothes and shoes in the closets from the early 20th century. Apparently, a few of the prior inhabitants refused to leave, however. The ghost of the lady of the house, Anna, is often seen peering out towards downtown Oklahoma City from the 3rd floor turret window. And a previous caretaker named Joe is known to make his presence known regularly. And other paranormal activity occurs frequently, according to mansion staffers, including numerous disembodied voices, some even calling mansion staffers by name. My sons and I toured the home last Saturday night as part of Preservation Oklahoma's History and Haunts tour they conduct every year just leading up to Halloween. And during the tour, ghost hunters were in the tour group reaching out to the spirits while we were there. I was able to question several staffers about their paranormal experiences, and the stories they told my sons and I were amazing. Don't believe me? Check out this volunteer describing a chilling encounter she recently had.
I'm Nikki.
And repeat what you just said to me.
Here. And my first ghost, I guess, I don't even know what you would call it. I guess it was a paranormal staking out or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was here with a group, and there was quite a few mediums. And we were in the carriage house, and we were just sitting there, and all the equipment started going off. And in the doorway, I seen a full body apparition that was as solid as any human could be. And I asked everybody.
What did it look like?
It was a man. He was dressed in clothes that were about 1920-ish. And it was dark, so it was kind of hard to make out, exactly what he looked like. But he was definitely very, very solid. It was a man. He had a long sleeve shirt on. His sleeves were rolled up. He had suspenders on and dark pants. And I asked everybody, I was like, can anybody else see him, or am I smoking crack? I mean, they got that on tape somewhere, and yeah, they said, yeah, we can see him too. And somebody was like, take a picture, and my immediate thought was, no, don't take a picture, because I don't want him to disappear.
Yeah.
It was like definitely.
So how long was it?
Gone.
Did you? How many seconds was it visible?
He was visible for a good 45 seconds.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
a long time. Like, we locked eyes,
Wow.
and it was like an instant, like, he knew I was there to protect the house and take after it, and I knew he wasn't going to hurt me.
That's creepy.
No, it was like really, really comforting. It really
Really?
was. I mean, I was scared and freaked out at first, but then I realized, you know what, he's not going to hurt me, and he knows I'm not going to hurt him.
Wow. Well, thanks.
It was really, really neat.
Thank you.
Okay, so if that happened to me, I would be out of there immediately. Can't promise that you'll have that kind of experience when you tour the place, but the Overholser Mansion is definitely a cool place to check out nonetheless. It's a true Oklahoma City treasure. That brings us to number 2, Stockyards City, more specifically Cattlemen Steakhouse and Langston's Western Wear in Stockyards City on South Avenue in Oklahoma City. Now, as I mentioned, Oklahoma City in its early days was the Wild West personified. In addition to the bankers, teachers, doctors, and dry goods store owners racing to set up shop around town, hustling promoters, thieves, saloon operators, ladies of the night, gamblers, and last but not least, cowboys could also be found with regularity around the bustling new city. Cowboys were, and still are, a staple at a part of Oklahoma City called Stockyards City, home to what was then and remains today the world's largest stalker and feeder cattle market. With all those cows, you'd expect to find cowboys, and that rings true even today. Since cowboys like to eat beef, hey, it's what's for dinner, right? What better place than Cattlemen Steakhouse, the granddaddy of Oklahoma City restaurants? Now, Cattlemen's opened its doors in 1910 and proudly serves real cowboys, ranchers, cattle haulers, and the like. And over the years, they've been known to sneak in an occasional lawyer, doctor, businessman, movie star, and even a U.S. president. It is a true Oklahoma City dining institution. The problem is that some of the previous patrons liked it so much they never left. And as such, weird things happen here routinely. Employees report hearing disembodied voices as well as footsteps walking upstairs when no one is around. Lights turn on and off by an unseen hand. Cold spots are felt throughout the building, and there's even an old rocking chair, once owned by the original owner, that decides to rock itself. Okay, that's creepy enough, but then go directly across the street to Langston's, the place to go in Oklahoma City for all your Western wear needs. Boots, jeans, cowboy hats, spurs, chaps, duster coats, turquoise jewelry, hunting apparel, you name it, they got it. They've also got something else. Apparently the building Langston occupies was once a rowdy dance hall back in the day, about 100 years ago. And back then, the second floor was also where you could find female companionship. The story goes that back in those rip-roaring days, there were 2 sisters, Rose and Patty. Now, some versions of the tale call Patty Goldie instead. Anyway, both girls were dancers in the establishment. For what it's worth, the stage in those days was in the area where now Ladies' Boots and the children's area reside. And one night, apparently, a jealous boyfriend rushed the stage and gunned down Patty as she was dancing. Rose, upon finding out her sister was murdered, hung herself in a room on the second floor. Though long departed, apparently the 2 sisters' spirits like to wander the building, seeking consolation for their tragic fate. Feeling nauseous in one part of the building is common. Lights flicker on and off for no apparent reason, and even more startling, an apparition of a lady in a purple dress is sometimes seen walking up and down the stairs. So ladies, when you're down there trying on your new boots, be alert for weird stuff, because it definitely happens there. Number 3, Paramount Pictures Film Exchange at 701 West Skirvin. Now, I knew about the goings-on at the Overholser Mansion and the creepy things occurring at Cattlemen's and Langston's, but in reading the Haunted Oklahoma City book, I stumbled on this one. Just west of downtown Oklahoma City, there's a building called the Paramount Pictures Film Exchange. Now, back in the heyday of early motion pictures and way before the likes of UPS and FedEx, and especially before cell phones and digital transmission technology, the motion picture studios in Hollywood faced a real problem. How to get their films screened for theater owners in the eastern half of the United States so they could decide which films to show at their theaters. Now, because of the fragile nature of celluloid, films had to be specially packed and hand-delivered to avoid damage, and so transporting films long distances across the country for theater owners to screen in advance was simply not possible. To solve this accessibility problem, the studios in Hollywood set up specific exchanges across the country where theater owners could see films yet to be released. Now, because of its ideal location in the center of the country and being located right at the juncture of north to south and east to west railroads, Oklahoma City became one of the premier film exchanges in the U.S. I had no idea this was part of Oklahoma City's past, I'll be honest. MGM, Paramount, Columbia, Universal, RKO, Vitagraph, Warner Brothers, Fox Films, and others began establishing their exchanges here. Theater owners would step off the train at the Santa Fe station in downtown Oklahoma City, stay at luxurious places like the Colcord Hotel, founded by none other than the aforementioned Henry Overholser himself, and the Skirvin Hotel, more on that one in a bit, and then walk among the exchanges and watch the films they might wish to buy for their theaters. Pretty sweet arrangement for the time, I have to say. But time marches on, and eventually in the years after World War II, the exchanges all went away. But as part of a recent urban revitalization project, the building that housed the Paramount Pictures Film Exchange has been brought back to life, which can't be said for some of the spirits that apparently still reside there. One spirit in particular is thought to be one Mr. Russell Goodwin, who served as the manager, projectionist, usher, janitor, and anything else the theater needed back in its heyday. It's believed that it's his ghostly face that is often sometimes seen in the projectionist window at the back of the theater. Adding to that creepiness, doors seem to unlock on their own, disembodied voices occur, and noises of things being moved on the second floor all add to the place's spooky charm. It's a cool building, and the Oklahoma Film Exchange now occupies the space and holds frequent film screenings in its theater. Check out a film there when you have a chance. Just don't turn around when you're sitting in your seat. You might see a face looking back at you didn't expect. Number 4, Old Moore High School at 201 North Broadway, Moore, Oklahoma. Now this is another one I knew nothing about until I read Jeff and Tanya's book. For those that don't know, Moore is an Oklahoma City suburb located just south of the downtown area. And after the school burned in 1927, Moore's High School was rebuilt using some of the same brick and even some of the original walls that were left standing. Eventually the old building was abandoned and set unoccupied for years until it was renovated, becoming the Old School Moore Event and Business Center. The center blends the classic architecture of the past in conjunction with local entrepreneurs' business ventures. It routinely hosts various social events as well as housing a number of local small businesses in the areas of real estate, photography, law, and construction. Hey, there's even a cafe and a dance studio there. It's a lively place that's apparently also home to a lot of unlively, is that a word? Occupants. The rumors of paranormal activity occurring here are now actually proving to be true as more witnesses come forward and report on the strange phenomena they experience. Things like the sound of desks being dragged across the floor is often heard coming from the second floor. By the way, there's no desk to be found there these days. Also, the clack-clack sound of a woman's high heels walking across the upstairs spaces is also heard. The swishing sound of a broom is often heard in the hallways, but no janitors around, or anyone else for that matter. And then there are the old lockers. In a locker on the second floor rests a doll that somehow manages to move on its own to another locker in another room, and then it miraculously moves back to its original locker's resting place. And what must truly be bizarre to observe, if you open the doors to a set of lockers in the basement and stand back, one by one, the doors will begin to squeal and slam shut on their own. Now that would be cool to see, I have to admit. But even cooler still would be to see the scariest thing in the old school. The appearance of a ghostly apparition as a white mist begins to form on the central stairway, which apparently, if you wait long enough, can sometimes lead to an image eventually appearing of a little girl wearing a long white dress and holding a doll floating above the stairs. Now, I could handle the locker door thing, but seeing that would freak me out. And speaking of freaking out, that leads us to the last place on the list. Ah yes, the Skirvin Hotel, number 5, located at 1 Park Avenue. The historic 13-story, 225-room Skirvin Hotel is the oldest hotel in Oklahoma City and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Opening in 1911, only 4 years after Oklahoma's statehood, the hotel had its highlights. Remember the theater owners I mentioned earlier that came to Oklahoma City in the early 20th century to screen films for their theaters? Now, they typically stayed in either the Skirvin or the only other luxury hotel in town, the Colcord, which, as I mentioned before, was owned by the father of Oklahoma City, Henry Overholser. The Skirvin also had a lot of lowlights over the years, eventually falling into deep disrepair after closing in 1988. For the next 19 years, it sat completely abandoned in downtown Oklahoma City and was frankly becoming something of an eyesore. But hey, the pigeons loved it. That all changed after an extensive $51 million renovation, and the new Skirvin, now called the Skirvin Hilton after affiliating with the hotel chain, opened in 2007 to much fanfare. In 2025, the hotel completed an additional $22 million renovation, and it now stands as the grand dame of hotels in the downtown Oklahoma City area. Over the years, it's hosted dignitaries from all over the world, including comedy duo Martin and Lewis, quarterback Joe Namath, union organizer Jimmy Hoffa, before he disappeared, Dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov, Elvis, and Presidents Wilson, Truman, Eisenhower, Nixon, Ford, and Reagan at various points in their careers. By all accounts, it continues to host a number of other entities, although these spiritual guests apparently have decided to never leave. Now, as an Oklahoma City resident, I've heard all my life that weird things happen from time to time at the Skirvin. I never really thought much about it, nor did things like this ever really get much publicity nationally. However, all that changed with the arrival of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA franchise, in 2008. And the Skirvin became the traditional home away from home for traveling NBA teams coming to the city to play the Thunder. And the stories began to make news with the New York Knicks in 2010, who famously blamed their loss to the Thunder on the haunted hotel. I kid you not. Subsequently, the Chicago Bulls also reported similar occurrences, with doors slamming shut on their own and strange sounds outside their players' rooms. The Skirvin is Haunted story finally received mainstream national attention in June 2012 when the Miami Heat were staying there for the NBA Finals. In January 2019, Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving announced that he was producing a feature film about the purported paranormal activity at the hotel, although I'm not really sure what happened to it because I don't think the film ever made it to production. Now, the most haunted room in the hotel is rumored to be room 1015. You guessed it, the 10th floor is where the NBA teams always stayed. So the story goes, the hotel's original owner, W.B. Skirvin, had an affair with a maid named Effie, which led to a pregnancy. To protect his reputation and avoid a scandal, Skirvin locked the maid in room 1015, or as the story supposedly goes. Now, she eventually jumped out of the window with her child, killing herself and the baby. To avoid negative press, the death was written off as suicide by a saleswoman who killed herself. Now, there are a lot of holes in this story, which I won't go into here. Suffice it to say, the story is sketchy at best. Whether it's true or not is debatable. Probably not. That said, weird, unexplained stuff does happen here. Hotel staff say they've seen objects moving by themselves and have heard strange noises at night. And again, NBA players regularly report that the hotel is downright spooky, and several players refuse to stay the night there. Bulls player Taj Gibson stated that he was startled when the bathroom door in his room slammed shut in the middle of the night. The Phoenix Suns' Wesley Johnson reported in 2013 that he got up in the morning to find that someone, or something, had closed his bathroom door during the night and filled his bathtub with water. Other players report hearing the cries of a baby, and a handful have said that an apparition actually approached them physically. Yikes. So what do you think? Have you ever had a Skirvin ghost story you care to share? So there you have it, folks. Yeah, we've got some scary places that have garnered quite the reputation over the years, no doubt about it. That said, cue the cringeworthy segue, I'm sorry. There's nothing to be frightened about when it comes to moving here, especially with our low cost of living and very affordable housing. There, I said it. So if you're interested in learning more about this place, hit me up at lyntaggartrealtor.com. And there you can order a free relocation guide and book a Zoom call with me to discuss this place in more detail. I look forward to speaking to you soon. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for my next video, which I should have new content coming out shortly. Until then, if you're going out trick-or-treating, everyone, stay safe. Bye-bye for now.